One love, family, wholeness and balance. Jesse Tree here. What's up? Stoked because it's spring and I'm here with one of our favorite early spring plants. In New Mexico, this is loathed, but to us, it's a valuable resource. This is the Chinese elm. So, all the ulmus family, the elm family, have this wonderful quality of being mucilaginous and demulcent. So that means they'll soothe your intestinal tract. It's much like aloe. You can also use the inner bark. Interrupting chicken. As a respiratory, soothing respiratory herb for like a warm, dry cough. You would also want a soothing, cooling, demulcent respiratory herb. So you can use it in those two ways. We also, he's crowing because he loves to eat them, so I'm going to give him a little bit. But we also cultivate oyster mushrooms on the wood when we cut down the trees because they are very weedy here. You can see the plethora of seeds. These just get in everywhere and they really take in readily and easily. You can also eat the leaves of this, but right now I want to show you a recipe that I love. We call it gorilla popcorn. I've been making this recipe for years, and you can make it many different ways, but it's essentially kale chips done with elm seeds. They're also called samaras in the West Indian tradition. These have been used for millennia. So I'll show you the quick gathering method. It's really quite simple. You see there's no leaves on this yet, so you just strip them off like that and toss them in the bucket. And I'm going to just try to fill up my bucket as much as possible, and then we're going to wash them. So that's where we are with that, and we'll show you the next step in a moment. All right, the chicken's got to get some. See how they love it? It's very rich also in minerals because the broad soil profile that the elm tree draws from, it goes down way deep, and so it pulls up like chromium and magnesium and good trace minerals. So excellent plant. All right, so I wanted to also mention that with the elm seeds, once they go dry, you can use them kind of like cereal. So you can just put them in a bowl of like almond milk with cinnamon and some chopped up dates and banana and a little honey, and have a bowl full of elm cereal. But what we gathered a good amount now, and I just filled my bucket with water so I can rinse like bugs and stuff off, and just gonna give it a little toss around in there. You can see the water's pretty mucky, and we're just gonna put this out here in the sun for a minute to dry after I rinse these, and then we're gonna dress them up like kale chips. All right, so it took an hour or two of drying them outside here in the sun and wind so that the water wasn't all over them, because when I'm gonna add oil, and you wanna not have the water and oil repelling one another. So these are all washed and dried now. Just gonna toss them in this big container, big pot, and just gonna do this batch by batch so I don't do too much at once. Still a little water in there, but it'll be all right because we're gonna put it in the dehydrator ideally, but my dehydrator is broken, so my convection oven goes to like 150, which is right about the right temperature anyway. And I like to do a lot of cooking, troll cooking style, where it's all just measurements of hands and what have you. So I'm just gonna add some oil. I'm gonna say, like, for this whole colander full, maybe like a quarter cup or so. Quarter cup to maybe a third a cup of oil, just to evenly coat it all. And you're gonna rub that around in the pot, get it all evenly coated. And then I'm gonna, similarly with the salt, I'm just gonna add some pinches, some good solid pinches of salt. Mix a little bit of that around. And then next, always garlic powder. And you may ask why a breatharian would want to make all this wild food. Well, it's part of what feeds me, is making food for others and playing with wild vegan delights. So yeah, you put a little bit of garlic powder in there. Rub that around, get it evenly coated. And last of all, some brewer's yeast is great for vegans. Good way to get your full range of B vitamins, protein, etc. And just like kale chips, you can do it a bunch of ways. You could do it like Asian style with a little soy sauce and powdered ginger and onion, and just keep adding a little bit more of that, because that makes a nice cheesy flavor that the kids love and the people love. Maybe a dash more salt, because I know we have some saltaholics around here. And then last of all, just gonna take a piece of parchment paper. Sorry about that with the microphone, y'all. And just gonna try to evenly get a layer. I'm gonna need a couple pans, and I'll just put this in my oven, like I said, at like 150 degrees. And at that temperature it takes a good while. It takes, maybe an hour and a half or something, 2 hours, just until they're dry and crispy. And then this will store like this for weeks in a good glass mason jar, and you can, even months. We've had them last quite a while in this state, as long as they're sufficiently dried out. And that's that. So next, let's go put this in the oven, and we'll show you a picture probably at the end. So hope you enjoy Gorilla Popcorn. Great way to get wild food, your B vitamins, all that, nutrient density, of the trace minerals. Seeds are really good to eat in terms of rebuilding your oils of your body. So good nutrition. Happy day. Have a good spring. Enjoy your gorilla chips.